Have you ever reached a point where you realize you can't rely on anyone, not even family? It's one of the hardest truths we face as we age, that the emotional and practical support we once expected from family starts to shift, shrink, or even disappear. Kids get busy. Siblings have their own health problems. Friends move, fall ill, or pass on. And suddenly, you're left wondering, who's really there for me? Now, that question can hit like a brick wall if you're not ready for it. But here's the good news. You can be ready. In fact, you can build a life at 70 or beyond where you feel strong, grounded, and unshaken, no matter who stays or goes. This video is not about being bitter. It's about being wise. Because real support, the kind you can count on in the middle of the night or on a lonely afternoon, often doesn't come from family. It comes from 5 other sources that most people overlook until it's too late. These 5 things are the real backbone of a peaceful, independent life in your 70s and beyond. They are the quiet, powerful forms of support that don't disappoint, don't grow distant, and don't leave you feeling like a burden. Stick with me because what I'm about to share may just change the way you think about aging and how powerful you truly are. Now let's get started. Number 1. Physical mobility. When you're in your 70s, the ability to move freely, independently, and without constant assistance is not just about walking. It's about freedom. It's about dignity. And in many ways, it's the single most important support you can have that doesn't rely on anyone else. Physical mobility means you can get out of bed without help. It means you can cook yourself a warm meal, reach up to your cabinet for the good dishes, or walk out the front door and breathe in the fresh morning air without waiting for someone to assist you. That's power. That's control over your life. And most importantly, that's a kind of emotional support that no one talks about because it gives you confidence and reduces fear. When you can move your body, you worry less about being a burden. Now, let's be honest. Staying mobile after 70 doesn't mean running marathons or doing backflips. It means protecting your joints, maintaining your balance, and keeping your muscles strong enough to trust your own legs. Small habits like stretching every morning, walking for 15 minutes a day, or using light resistance bands can make all the difference. And it's never too late to start. Many people think the decline in mobility is inevitable. It's not. In fact, the more you move, the more your body fights to keep moving. Your body listens to your actions more than your age. Psychologically, physical mobility helps combat a deep fear. Most older adults carry the fear of helplessness. When your body becomes dependent, your mind starts shrinking too. You begin to second-guess yourself. You stop planning outings. You avoid trips. You decline invitations, not because you're uninterested, but because you fear not being able to manage. That's not aging. That's shrinking. And you don't have to live that way. Take Harold, a 78-year-old man I met at a park in Florida. He walks laps every morning with a cane, rain or shine. I asked him once why he's so committed, and he said, "Because the moment I stop walking is the moment I start waiting for someone to help me. And I don't want to wait. I want to live." His mobility isn't perfect, but it's his and it gives him peace. He still drives to the grocery store, still visits friends on Sundays, and still climbs the 3 steps to his front porch with pride. Not because someone built a ramp for him, but because he refused to stop moving. The reality is, when you invest in your body even a little bit, it gives you back a level of freedom most people don't appreciate until it's gone. Family may not always be there to take you to appointments or help you get up from a fall. But if your legs are strong, your core is stable, and your balance is steady, you can delay those needs. You can keep your independence longer than most expect. And that's the kind of support that gives you confidence, not just physically but emotionally. So, if you're feeling stiff or weak these days, that's okay. Don't judge yourself, but start where you are. Move a little more today than you did yesterday. Stretch while you wait for your coffee to brew. Take 1 extra lap down the hallway. Because every small effort builds something big, your own reliable foundation. A foundation that walks beside you every step of the way, no matter who else shows up. Number 2. Financial simplicity. When you reach your 70s, peace of mind doesn't come from how much money you have in the bank. It comes from knowing what you need, what you can manage, and how to live within your means, without fear or shame. Financial simplicity is one of the strongest supports you can rely on. And it's one of the few you can fully control without needing anyone else. You see, complicated finances become emotional baggage. Juggling multiple accounts, trying to track every subscription, or feeling overwhelmed by credit cards. It's not just stressful. It eats away at your sense of stability. And when you're older, stability isn't just about comfort. It's about survival. Because no matter how much family loves you, they can't erase financial chaos. But a clear, simple plan can carry you through the roughest patches, like a sturdy cane for your soul. And here's the thing most people miss. Simplifying your money doesn't mean giving up control. It means gaining control. A modest lifestyle that fits you, not someone else's expectations. The freedom to buy what you need without second-guessing every dollar. It's like clearing out a cluttered closet. Once things are in order, your brain can rest. Psychologically, financial simplicity removes one of the biggest sources of late-life anxiety. Uncertainty. Many older adults lie awake at night wondering, will I outlive my savings? Or what if I can't afford a caregiver someday? And these questions haunt them more than physical pain. But when you know where your money goes, when your spending is intentional and your needs are covered without stretching, you sleep better. You walk taller. You feel steadier. Let me share something from my neighbor Lorraine, a 74-year-old widow who once worked as a librarian. After her husband passed, she sat down with a financial counselor and decided to downsize. Smaller home, fewer bills, one credit card, and no more subscriptions she didn't use. She told me, I used to be afraid to check the mail. Now, I open every envelope with a clear head and a calm heart. She even started a small savings jar labeled Freedom Fund. Just $10 here and there. But it reminds her that she's in charge of her money, not the other way around. What Lorraine did wasn't magic. It was choice. A quiet, deliberate decision to simplify her financial life, so she could focus on living, not just surviving. And here's the most powerful part. When your finances are simple, you need fewer people to manage them. You don't have to call your son every time you have a billing question. You don't have to wait for a family member to explain the fine print. You can handle it. You're the captain. So, if you feel overwhelmed by your money right now, take a breath. You're not alone. And you don't need to be rich. You just need to be clear. Cancel what you don't use. Combine what you can. Write down what comes in and what goes out. Make it so simple you could explain it to a friend over a cup of coffee. Because in the end, peace isn't in the numbers, it's in the knowing. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, consistent health routine. At 70 and beyond, your strongest support isn't your children, your neighbors, or even your doctor. It's your daily health routine. I'm not talking about trendy workouts or expensive supplements. I mean the small, steady actions that you repeat every day to keep your body and mind in working order. This is the kind of self-reliance that builds true independence. Because when your body feels steady, so does your spirit. You see, many people wait until something goes wrong before they start paying attention to their health. But that's like patching a leaky roof during a thunderstorm. It's reactive, and it keeps you in crisis mode. A consistent routine flips that, puts you in charge. When you walk every morning, drink your water, stretch your legs, take your medications on time, and eat what fuels you, not just what fills you. You are creating a rhythm of respect for yourself. And that rhythm carries you forward on the days when motivation is low and the body feels heavy. There's a hidden power in routine, especially in later years. Psychologically, routines reduce anxiety because they remove decision fatigue. You don't have to ask yourself, should I do this today? You just do it. That predictability creates stability, which leads to confidence. And confidence is what keeps you from feeling like a burden on others. It lets you say, I'm still capable. I'm still in motion, and I still take care of me. Let me tell you about Frank, an 81-year-old former electrician I know. Every morning at 6 a.m., he makes a cup of green tea, does 15 minutes of chair stretches, takes his morning meds, and goes for a 30-minute walk around the block. Rain or shine, he told me once, it's not about exercise. It's about telling myself every morning that I still matter. That hit me because Frank's routine isn't about fitness. It's about identity. About staying connected to the part of himself that refuses to quit just because the years are adding up. And here's something you might not realize. When you have a routine, you actually need less help, not more. You're less likely to forget your pills, less likely to have falls, less likely to feel lost in the day. It's like building a sturdy path in a foggy forest. Even when things feel unclear, your feet know where to go, because they've walked it every day. That's real support. And it doesn't depend on anyone but you. Of course, some days are harder than others. Your joints ache, your energy dips, or the weather keeps you inside. That's okay. The routine can be flexible. What matters is not perfection, but consistency. A little walk around the house, a few deep breaths by the window, drinking a full glass of water before bed. These aren't big tasks, but together, they become a net that catches you, holds you up, and keeps you moving forward with grace. So, if you're feeling stuck or you've let your routine slide lately, start small. One habit, one action, because every time you show up for yourself, you're proving that you are your own best caregiver. And that's a kind of support no one can take away. Number 4, emotional resilience. If there's one form of support that grows more valuable with age, it's emotional resilience. Not money, not even health. Because when your emotions are strong, you can weather just about anything. Loneliness, grief, setbacks, and yes, even the disappointments that sometimes come from family. Emotional resilience is what lets you sit in silence without feeling empty, and face hardship without feeling destroyed. At 70, life has likely already thrown you a handful of losses. Maybe more. A spouse passing, children drifting away, health declining. And the mistake many people make is thinking that emotional strength means never feeling sad. That's not it. Emotional resilience is about feeling deeply, but not being drowned by it. It's about letting the sorrow pass through you, not take root in you. This kind of strength doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from telling yourself, this hurts, but I can handle it. And the truth is, every time you do that, every time you sit with pain without running from it, you become less afraid of what's next. That's powerful. That's liberating. You're not leaning on others to carry your sorrow. You're learning how to hold it without it breaking you. Let me share a story. There's a woman named Eileen, 77, who lost her husband 5 years ago and lives on her own now. I asked her once, what gets you through the hard days? She said, I light a candle every night. Not because I'm religious, but because it reminds me I'm still here. I cry some nights. I laugh others. But I always tell myself, you made it through today. That small ritual is her way of honoring her pain, without letting it swallow her. That's resilience. You see, emotional resilience isn't just about surviving the big tragedies. It's about managing the small disappointments too. When your son doesn't call, when a friend moves away, when you realize you can't do what you used to, if you crumble every time something shifts, life becomes too painful to enjoy. But when you have emotional strength, you gain freedom. You're not at the mercy of other people's choices or the world's changes. You're steady because you choose how to respond. Psychologically, emotional resilience rewires your brain. It helps your thoughts slow down. It teaches your nervous system not to overreact. It builds confidence that you can face uncertainty and still be okay. And in older age, when so much is uncertain, that's one of the most valuable gifts you can give yourself. Now, if you're wondering how to build emotional resilience, it starts with awareness. Talk to yourself with kindness. Allow your feelings to be real, but don't let them run wild. Find small grounding routines like writing in a notebook, walking in nature, or simply putting on music you love. And remind yourself often, you've survived every hard thing up to now. That's not luck. That's strength. So yes, family may fade. Health may falter, but if your emotional core is strong, you will still stand, clear-eyed, steady-hearted, and rooted in the quiet knowledge that you are enough, all by yourself. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, a personal code of values. There's something deeply powerful about having your own set of values, especially after 70. When the world around you shifts, when people let you down, and when the future feels uncertain, your personal code becomes your compass. It tells you who you are, what matters, and how you want to live, no matter what anyone else does. Too many seniors lose their sense of direction because they've spent a lifetime living by others' expectations. They were the good parent, the faithful worker, the supportive spouse. But once those roles fade, they're left wondering, what now? That's where a personal code steps in. It says, this is who I am, and this is how I live, regardless of who's watching. A strong personal code might include things like honesty, kindness, responsibility, simplicity, or self-respect. These aren't flashy. They're not impressive to anyone but you. And that's the point. When you live by your own values, you stop needing approval. You stop chasing validation. You stop being rattled when someone disagrees with you, because your peace doesn't depend on them. Let me tell you about Howard, a man I met in his early 80s. He once said, I have 5 rules. I speak the truth. I don't waste food. I always return a borrowed thing. I forgive fast. And I sleep with a clear conscience. That's it. And every day Howard lives by that. He's not rich. He doesn't have a big family. But he walks around with a kind of quiet dignity that's rare. Why? Because he knows who he is. His code anchors him. Psychologically, having a personal code helps reduce regret. It makes your choices simpler. You don't lie awake wondering, did I do the right thing? Because you already know what the right thing is for you. It also builds internal stability. When life throws you a curveball, and it will, you're less likely to panic. You'll think, what do my values say about this? And that becomes your guide. In fact, studies in elder psychology show that seniors who live by a consistent set of values report higher life satisfaction, lower anxiety, and better cognitive health. Why? Because clarity brings calm. When your life has a through line, a thread of integrity, it keeps you grounded. But here's what's even more important. Your values are yours. No one else needs to agree with them. You don't have to explain them. You just have to live them. That's what makes them powerful. Whether it's waking up early to greet the sun, refusing to gossip, being generous even when you have little, or staying curious about the world. Whatever values speak to your soul, hold on to them. Let them carry you. Because when you can look in the mirror at 75 or 85 and say, I lived according to what I believe, that's real success. That's real self-respect. And no one, not your children, not society, not even time, can take that away from you. It's the kind of support that never fades because it lives inside you. And in the end, that's what this journey is about. Not being remembered by everyone else, but being at peace with yourself. A personal code gives you that peace. It's not loud. It doesn't boast. But it holds you up quietly, faithfully when everything else changes. Final thoughts. As we age, we often find ourselves reflecting on who really stands beside us when the lights are low and the days grow quiet. And it's not always who we thought. Family, friends, even our own bodies can become less dependable with time. But that doesn't mean we're left with nothing. In fact, the older we get, the more we realize that some of the strongest supports in our lives were never outside of us at all. They were within us, waiting for us to lean on them. Maybe it's the quiet strength of daily routines, the comforting rhythm that tells your mind and body, you're safe, you're grounded. Or maybe it's the joy of small pursuits, things that make the hours feel meaningful even when no one else is around. These are not just hobbies. They're lifelines to our own identity and purpose. Then there's physical self-maintenance. Something as simple as keeping your legs strong and your meals balanced can spell the difference between independence and dependence. It's a truth we don't always want to hear, but it's one that gives us the most control over how we age. Taking care of yourself isn't vanity. It's wisdom. We also talked about having a sharp mind, staying curious, staying engaged, staying alive in the world of ideas and change. When your brain keeps growing, so does your sense of relevance and resilience. You don't fade away. You adapt. You evolve. You surprise even yourself. And perhaps most quietly powerful of all, we explored having a personal code. A set of values that define who you are, no matter who walks in or out of your life. That's your compass. That's your armor. That's what allows you to age with dignity and die with peace. So what does this all mean? It means that the most reliable support system after 70 might not be a person but a mindset. A way of living rooted in habits, beliefs, and practices that keep you steady, no matter what the world does. It's about becoming your own foundation. Because when you can stand strong alone, you never really feel alone. That kind of inner strength isn't just comforting. It's liberating. Now, here's a gentle challenge for you. Take a moment, maybe after this video ends, and ask yourself, which of these supports do I already have in place? And which one do I want to build up? Starting today. Don't be afraid to start small. Big changes begin with one quiet decision, made in the privacy of your own heart. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.